Stand up right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Okay. Now, really pay attention to what just happened in your body. Did your muscles feel a little stiff or tight? Maybe your legs gave a small twinge? Or you noticed a bit of mental fog creeping in? If any of that rang true, you're not imagining things, and it might not simply be normal aging at play. According to data referenced by the National Institutes of Health, close to 70% of adults over the age of 60 have suboptimal magnesium levels. Here's the truly surprising part. The vast majority of them have absolutely no clue this is happening. Why? Because the standard blood tests that doctors run usually come back labeled as normal, even though at a functional cellular level, magnesium is too low to let the body operate at its best. I'm Dr. Michael Kent. For more than 20 years, I've focused my work on aging, nutrition, and chronic fatigue. In that time, I've worked with thousands of patients who genuinely believed that feeling tired all the time, dealing with muscle cramps, or battling brain fog was simply an unavoidable part of getting older. But the reality I've seen again and again is very different. Magnesium deficiency is quiet, sneaky, widely underrecognized, yet surprisingly easy to address once you know what to do. What most people have been told about energy levels, quality of sleep, and those annoying muscle cramps as the years go by is incomplete at best. Doctors often run a blood panel, see magnesium listed in the normal range, and move on. But your body doesn't just rely on what's floating around in the bloodstream. It depends on magnesium working properly inside the cells themselves. That's exactly why symptoms like ongoing fatigue, leg cramps at night, trouble staying asleep, feelings of anxiety, and even occasional mild heart palpitations can creep up one after another, slowly chipping away at your daily quality of life without anyone connecting the dots. Over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through a clear step-by-step protocol designed to help restore proper magnesium function. The goal is simple: better daytime energy, calmer and more relaxed muscles, deeper and more restorative sleep, and a noticeable lift in that mental fog, all without having to follow extreme diets, complicated daily routines, or costly specialty treatments. These approaches are grounded in solid, science-backed evidence from respected institutions such as Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and the NIH. Before we go any further, I'd love for you to drop a quick comment below with just your age. It helps me get a sense of who's watching and what life stage people are in right now. I really want to know how many of you are already noticing these subtle but persistent signs that could point to magnesium deficiency. The bottom line is this: you absolutely do not have to accept constant fatigue, disruptive nighttime cramps, or poor sleep as inevitable parts of getting older. Let's take a closer look together and uncover exactly what's going on inside your body. Let me walk you through what is really happening in your body, things that almost no one explains clearly. Once you reach your 60s and 70s, several important physiological changes take place that directly affect how your body handles magnesium. These shifts impact your energy, your muscles, the quality of your sleep, and even your overall mood. Think of your digestive system when you were younger. It worked like an efficient sponge, soaking up nutrients from food without much trouble. But with age, that sponge becomes less effective at pulling in magnesium. Even if you're still eating plenty of magnesium-containing foods like leafy greens and nuts, your intestines absorb noticeably less of it. On a more technical level, the small intestine relies on specific transporter proteins known as TRPM6 and TRPM7 to move magnesium from your gut into the bloodstream. According to research published by the NIH, these transporters in adults over 65 function anywhere from 20% to 30% less efficiently than they did earlier in life. The result? Even a reasonably good diet can leave your cells quietly undersupplied with magnesium over time. I understand if you're feeling a bit skeptical right now. Maybe you've been eating healthily for decades, so why would this suddenly become an issue? The answer lies in how subtle the change is. That small daily shortfall doesn't cause dramatic problems right away. It builds slowly, week after week, month after month. Eventually, it starts showing up as persistent fatigue, frequent muscle cramps, or nights when your mind won't settle down and let you rest properly. If you've ever jolted awake with a stiff, painful calf muscle, or found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts, go ahead and type the word cramp in the comments right now so I know you're relating to this. Another place where things commonly go wrong as we age is with the kidneys. They become less efficient at holding on to magnesium, meaning more of it gets flushed out in urine than before. Add to that the fact that many widely prescribed medications, things like diuretics for blood pressure, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, and certain other heart or blood pressure drugs, can speed up magnesium loss even more. Picture magnesium as money sitting in a savings account. When you're younger, deposits come in steadily and the account stays healthy, but as we get older, the withdrawals start happening faster than the deposits, and the balance quietly drops without any obvious warning signs. One long-term study from Harvard followed more than 200 adults aged 65 and older over a 5-year period. They discovered that people taking long-term diuretics ended up with magnesium levels up to 25% lower than those not on those medications. That's a significant difference that often flies under the radar. Magnesium also plays a central role in the production of ATP, the primary energy-carrying molecule inside every cell of your body. You can think of ATP as thousands of tiny rechargeable batteries that power literally everything your cells do. Magnesium is required to help those batteries charge fully and stay charged. Without enough of it, the batteries run low, and you start feeling that deep, heavy fatigue that isn't fixed by a nap or a cup of coffee. It's the kind of exhaustion that lingers all day long. A study conducted at Johns Hopkins looked specifically at adults between 60 and 75 years old. They found that when these individuals supplemented with magnesium, cellular energy markers improved by as much as 38% within just 8 weeks. That improvement translated into noticeably better stamina and a real reduction in overall fatigue for most participants. Then there's the connection to your nervous system and brain. Magnesium is essential for proper signaling of GABA, one of the main calming neurotransmitters that helps quiet the mind and prepare the body for rest. When magnesium levels dip, your nervous system tends to stay stuck in a subtle, low-level alert state, even when you're physically worn out. It's like a car engine that's idling too high. You want to downshift and relax, but the system keeps revving. That's a big reason why low magnesium so often shows up as difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, increased anxiety during the day, or general irritability. And here's an important twist. Stress itself burns through magnesium at a much faster rate. So when sleep suffers because of low magnesium, stress rises, which depletes magnesium even further, which makes sleep worse again. It's a classic self-perpetuating cycle that many people live in without realizing the root cause. Magnesium is also the mineral that tells your muscles it's time to relax after they contract. When levels are low, that relaxation signal gets weak, leading to those frustrating nighttime leg cramps, or even the sensation of a fluttering or irregular heartbeat from time to time. Research published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that adults over 60 with lower magnesium status were 52% more likely to report regular cramps and palpitations. All these symptoms, fatigue that won't lift, recurring cramps, broken sleep, feeling on edge or irritable, can seem completely unrelated at first glance. But in reality, they're often connected by the same underlying thread: insufficient magnesium at the cellular level. In just a moment, I'll share some real patient stories that illustrate exactly how subtle yet powerful this deficiency can be. Let's start with Margaret. She's 72 years old. When she first came to see me, she explained her situation very plainly. "Dr. Kent, I eat reasonably well. I stay active. I don't live on junk food or processed meals, but I'm exhausted most of the time. My legs cramp badly at night, and I can't seem to get decent sleep anymore. Why is this happening to me?" On the surface, her blood work looked normal, as her previous doctors had told her. But when we looked more carefully, it became clear that her magnesium was functionally low, even if the numbers fell within the reference range. We started her on what I call the Relax Protocol, a structured, gentle approach to rebuilding magnesium status. Within just 4 weeks, Margaret saw her nighttime leg cramps drop by about 70%. Her sleep improved dramatically, from 4 to 5 hours of broken, restless nights to a solid 6 to 7 hours of much deeper, more refreshing rest. She also told me she felt noticeably sharper and clearer headed in the mornings, something she hadn't experienced in a long while. Then there's Robert, age 68. He came in describing persistent fatigue that dragged him down every day, along with occasional heart palpitations that made him anxious, especially at night. He said, "I feel like my own body is working against me now. My energy has disappeared, and I'm constantly worried something is wrong with my heart." We put him on the same relax protocol. Over the following 8 weeks, his blood pressure came down nicely, from 148/92 to 126/78. The palpitations became rare instead of regular, and most importantly, his energy returned step by step until he felt like he had reclaimed his life. Stories like Margaret's and Robert's are far from rare. Multiple studies from places like Harvard and Johns Hopkins have confirmed that when magnesium is supplemented thoughtfully, combined with smart dietary choices, it can lead to meaningful gains in muscle relaxation, sleep quality, mood stability, and overall daily function for adults over 60. Improvements often become noticeable within 4 to 8 weeks. That's exactly why it's so important to use the correct forms of magnesium, take it at the right times, and dose it appropriately. Choosing the wrong type or jumping in too aggressively is one of the most common reasons people try supplementing and then give up, thinking it didn't help. Now let's get practical. I'm going to teach you the precise protocol I use with my own patients day in and day out. I call it the relax protocol because it helps people finally relax, physically, mentally, and emotionally, by restoring magnesium in a safe, effective way. The acronym RELAX breaks down into 5 key pillars: routine, eat, listen, absorb, and experience. Starting with step 5, routine, consistency over chaos. The single biggest key to success is steady, daily consistency rather than sporadic high doses. For most adults over 60, a good target range is 200 under 400 milligrams of supplemental magnesium per day, depending on your current diet, health status, and any medications. The smart way to begin is low and slow. Start with 100-200 milligrams daily and increase gradually only as your body tolerates it. Daily intake allows your cells to rebuild magnesium reserves steadily instead of swinging up and down. Step 4, eat magnesium-rich foods. Food should always form the foundation. Focus on reliable sources like leafy greens, especially spinach and Swiss chard, nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, avocados, and legumes, black beans, lentils. Pairing these magnesium-rich foods with healthy fats, such as olive oil, nuts, or avocado, actually improves absorption because magnesium is fat-soluble in many contexts. Eating these foods regularly builds a strong base before you even add supplements. Step 3, listen, matching form to need. Not all magnesium supplements are created equal, and choosing the right form makes a huge difference. Magnesium glycinate is gentle on the stomach, highly absorbable, and especially helpful for promoting relaxation, better sleep, reduced cramps, and calmer nerves. Magnesium citrate works well if constipation is part of the picture, because it naturally draws water into the intestines to soften stools. Magnesium malate tends to be more energizing and is often preferred when fatigue or muscle soreness is the main complaint. One form you should generally avoid is magnesium oxide. It's inexpensive but very poorly absorbed and frequently causes stomach upset. The most common mistake I see among older adults is grabbing whatever magnesium supplement is cheapest or most advertised without thinking about how well it will be absorbed or what specific symptoms they're trying to address. Step 2. Absorb. Timing and synergy. How and when you take magnesium matters just as much as what kind. Evening doses tend to work best for supporting sleep and reducing nighttime cramps because of the calming effect. If you're taking higher amounts, consider splitting the dose, half in the afternoon and half before bed. Always take it with food to improve tolerance and minimize any chance of digestive discomfort. At the same time, try to cut back on things that actively deplete magnesium, excessive sugar and refined carbs, ongoing chronic stress, and taking too much calcium without balancing it properly, since calcium and magnesium compete for absorption in some pathways. Step 1. Experience, observe, and adjust. This is the part many people skip, but it's crucial. Pay close attention to how your body responds. Keep a simple daily log of your main symptoms. Note things like frequency of leg cramps, how deeply you sleep, your energy levels during the day, and any changes in mood or anxiety. Adjust the form, dose, or timing slowly based on what you observe. Most people start seeing positive shifts within 2 to 4 weeks. Fewer nighttime leg cramps, better overall sleep quality, steadier daytime energy, and a reduction in anxiety or irritability. The changes are often subtle at first, but they build and compound over time. So what does the timeline actually look like when someone follows the relax protocol consistently? In week 1, the improvements are usually small but encouraging, perhaps a little less twitching or restlessness in the legs at night, and evenings that feel slightly calmer than before. By week 2, things start to deepen. You may fall asleep more easily, experience longer stretches of uninterrupted rest, notice the morning mental fog beginning to clear, and feel a modest but real uptick in energy. Weeks 3 to 4 tend to bring the most obvious measurable progress. Nighttime leg cramps often drop by 50–70%. Energy becomes more consistent throughout the day. Any constipation improves noticeably if that was an issue, and mood feels steadier and less reactive. From week 4 onward, the transformation becomes more complete and sustained. Sleep turns truly restorative, muscles stay relaxed more easily, daily energy levels stabilize without big crashes, anxiety fades into the background, and mental clarity returns in a way that many people haven't felt in years. This isn't just a minor, gradual shift. It's a quiet but profound change that builds steadily over weeks, rather than requiring months of trial and error or following trendy, unsustainable fixes. Before we wrap up, I want to be very clear about safety and precautions. The relax protocol is not intended as a cure or treatment for any specific medical disease or condition. You should never stop or change any prescribed medications without first discussing it directly with your own doctor. If you have a history of kidney disease, significant heart rhythm problems, or you're currently taking diuretics or other medications that affect electrolyte balance, please consult your physician before beginning any form of magnesium supplementation. Always start low and go slow. Begin with 100 to 200 mg per day and increase your dose gradually only as tolerated. This approach greatly reduces the chance of any digestive side effects like loose stools. Magnesium is generally very safe when used sensibly, but high doses taken too quickly can cause temporary stomach upset or diarrhea in some people. Monitor how your body responds carefully and prioritize gentle, balanced restoration. Think of this process as carefully repairing and strengthening the foundation of a house rather than trying to slap on a dramatic new addition. Here's my personal challenge to you today. Pick just one single piece of the relax protocol. Maybe it's choosing and starting the right form of magnesium supplement, adding more spinach, almonds, or pumpkin seeds to your meals each day, or simply beginning to track your cramps, sleep quality, and energy in a simple notebook, and commit to doing that one thing consistently for the next 30 days. Then come back to this video or this post and leave a comment sharing what changed for you. I personally read every single comment, and your real-life experience has the power to help hundreds or even thousands of other people finally make the connection and take action themselves. Your muscles, your nerves, and your heart have carried you faithfully through decades of life. They deserve far better than to be quietly depleted and dismissed as just getting older. You really can restore balance and function without complexity, fear, or unnecessary confusion. What you've almost certainly been told about energy, restorative sleep, and those frustrating muscle cramps as the years accumulate is incomplete at best. A doctor orders a metabolic panel or electrolyte screen, sees magnesium sitting comfortably inside the reference range, and the conversation moves on. But your body doesn't run on what's circulating in the bloodstream alone. It depends on adequate magnesium actually reaching and functioning inside the cells and tissues where over 300 enzymatic reactions require it every single day. That's precisely why symptoms can appear so scattered and seemingly unrelated. Dragging fatigue that coffee doesn't touch, painful nighttime leg cramps that jolt you awake, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, low-grade anxiety that simmers under the surface, mild heart flutters or skipped beats that come and go, even occasional constipation. All of these can quietly erode your quality of life for months or years before anyone connects them to one common root cause. In the next roughly 25 minutes, I'm going to lay out a clear, practical, step-by-step protocol that I've used successfully with hundreds of patients over 60 to help restore proper magnesium status at the cellular level. The aim is straightforward: noticeably better daytime energy, calmer and less cramp-prone muscles, deeper and more refreshing sleep, and a real clearing of that mental fog, all achieved without extreme dietary overhauls, complicated schedules, or expensive specialty products. Everything I'm about to share is grounded in peer-reviewed research from institutions including Harvard Medical School, Johns Hopkins, the NIH, UCLA, and others. Before we dive deeper, I'd really appreciate it if you'd take 10 seconds right now and drop a quick comment below with just your age, nothing else. It helps me understand who's here watching or reading and what life stage most of you are navigating. More than that, I want to see how many of you are already quietly recognizing some of these subtle or not so subtle signs that magnesium may be playing a bigger role than you realized. Because here's the central truth I want you to hold on to today. You do not have to quietly accept constant fatigue, disruptive nighttime leg cramps, broken sleep, or feeling off mentally as an inevitable tax of aging. There is usually something concrete and correctable happening underneath. Let's go step by step and uncover exactly what that is. Let me explain in plain terms what is actually taking place inside your body. Changes that almost no one explains clearly to patients. When you move into your 60s, 70s, and beyond, 4 major physiological shifts occur that directly disrupt magnesium balance and, in turn, affect your energy, muscle function, sleep quality, nervous system regulation, and mood stability. I know that can sound discouraging if you've prided yourself on eating well for decades. You may be thinking, but I already eat spinach, almonds, avocados. Why would this suddenly matter now? The reason is subtlety. The shortfall is small on any given day, maybe 20-40 milligrams less absorbed than your cells actually need. But over weeks and months, that tiny gap compounds. Eventually, it crosses a threshold and symptoms appear. You wake with stiff, cramping calves. You feel heavy and unrefreshed even after enough hours in bed. Your mind feels foggy by mid-afternoon. Small stresses feel harder to shake off. If you've experienced any of those, especially those sudden, painful nighttime leg cramps that double you over, please type the single word cramp in the comments right now. I want to know you're with me on this. Third, magnesium's role in energy production becomes painfully obvious when stores are low. Every cell in your body relies on ATP, the universal energy currency, for literally everything. Muscle contraction, nerve signaling, thinking, repairing tissue, maintaining temperature, you name it. Magnesium is an essential cofactor in the reactions that generate and stabilize ATP. Without sufficient magnesium, your cellular batteries never charge to full capacity. The result isn't the normal tiredness you feel after a long day. It's a pervasive, heavy exhaustion that lingers morning to night, no matter how much rest or caffeine you throw at it. If this information resonated with you and you found it valuable, please make sure you're subscribed or following so you don't miss what's coming next. In the following week, I'll be diving into several other hidden but critically important nutrients that can help protect your bones, sharpen your brain, and support your heart health after age 60, and I promise at least one of them is overlooked by the majority of doctors. If you stayed with me all the way to the end of this script, type the words "Relax Magic" in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you.